Hello, Michael McCarthy here. In this video we're going to take a look at taking your ZBrush models into 3ds Max and generating hair with them. Now in ZBrush you might have modeled something like this. We got this model from a user over at TurboSquid, really excellent model of Megan Fox that was modeled in ZBrush, and the hair was created too, probably using something like fiber mesh. Now when you import this into 3ds Max, you're going to get something that looks like this. Great model and some nice hair with some wonderful styling that was created in ZBrush, but it's kind of low poly for very fine detail hair rendering, and that's why we'd want to convert this into real 3ds Max hair with Ornatrix. So to do that, it's a pretty quick and easy process. We're going to use one of the new Ornatrix 3 hair tools. Go to Create, Ornatrix, and we're going to choose Hair Strips. Now you might use hair strips for creating a bunch of hairs per strip or something of that nature usually, but in this case we're just going to create one hair per strip. So you can see that the defaults, if I go over to the Modify panel, are to create 100 hairs per strip and just visualize maybe 10% of those in the viewport. We'll kind of flip that up. We want to see all the hairs in the viewport, and we really only want one hair per strip. And then what that's going to do is it's going to kind of traverse all of these polygon strips that came over from ZBrush, and it's going to give us a real Ornatrix hair for them. So all we have to do now is click on Add and pick our hair. Now we do have quite a few hairs here, so this might take a second or two, and then you can see that we have our hair generated in the viewport here. Now we may want to go in and hide that hair here, so I'm going to kind of turn that off. And then we're going to select our hair from mesh strips and add a rendering modifier. So add the render settings modifier to kind of make that a lot smaller. I'll set this to 0.03 as far as the global radius, and then you can see that we have our hair here. Just apply that material so that we can easily see this in the viewport, and like that we have our Ornatrix hair. See, we have nice fine detail hair kind of coming through, and we can do whatever we would want to do to Ornatrix hair here. So if we want to apply a shader, render it with mental ray, V-ray, or anything else, then we can do that. Now the hair strips object itself has a couple of different options here. You can see that we just gave it one hair per strip. We can actually give it more if we wanted to. If we set it to per vertex, then we would get 2 hairs per strip because it would create the hairs down the edges. We'll set it back to random. If we wanted to increase this to give ourselves more hair, we could set it to 4 hairs per strip. Then we get a lot more hairs kind of showing up here. Might need to make them a little bit thinner. So you can see that there. I'll go back down, probably set this back to 1. Make that a little bit thicker. Now one thing that you might notice is that even though this is hair, of course, there are some kind of bends and knots in places that we might want to take care of. There's 2 ways that you can do this, of course. In mesh from strips, you do have the points per strand, and it's set actually pretty low, which I actually prefer to do. We could set this to something a little higher, so let me set it to 30, and you'll see that we'll get a much smoother result out of the hair. But that's kind of giving us the overall number of points per strand right here in the base object, which is good. I just usually prefer to use a modifier to keep it a little more flexible, so I'll bring it back down to 10, and of course you can use the detail modifier. So I'm going to just go in and say OX strand detail, and that'll pretty much do the same thing. You see we have 50 points at render, 20 in the viewport, and we've smoothed this out quite a bit. So now we can take this hair, and if you wanted to add things like maybe some frizz or something like that, you can kind of go ahead and crank that up and just adjust the hair, add a little more styling or curling or something of that nature right here in 3ds Max. So there we are. There's the kind of quick and easy way to bring your hair objects in from ZBrush and convert them to hair or Ornatrix hair in 3ds Max so that you can apply any shaders or styling or other things that you might need to do and continue your kind of high quality hair workflow. I hope that helps you out in your productions. Thank you very much.